Hi, this is a Grellow and Gray tutorial for the Sirka counter. I'm Gray and I'll be your teacher for this photo tutorial, the Aran pullover, although we might as well call it the Aran cowl or the Aran shawl or the Aran sock or the Aran blanket, because the techniques here work for any Aran pattern. I'm a sucker for Aran patterns in particular and cables in general, and until we invented the Sirka counter I used an ordinary row counter. It wasn't too bad. After a few repeats you get pretty good at doing the math in your head, like this. My ordinary row counter says I'm on row 53 and I've got a 24 row repeat. So 53 minus 24 is 29, minus 24 again is 5, so I'm on row 5 of the chart. But then I worked an Aran pattern that threw a wrench into my brain calculator. It read, after the first repeat, work rows 3 through 24 only. What? Now, you could do this math in your head too. Here's the calculation where R subchart is the chart row, R sub counter is the row showing on an ordinary row counter, and X is the number of repeats you've completed. How do you find X? Well, with an ordinary row counter, you'd have to look at your knitting, and that's not convenient. Worse, this was the only chart that started again at row 3. The other ones started again at row 1, and that's not convenient. We don't mind the math, but we hate the inconvenience. With the Sirka counter, there's no math and there's no inconvenience, which is why this is going to be the shortest tutorial ever. This is the Sirka counter. We named its parts after the parts of a pocket watch. So this is the bow, this is the face, these are the crowns, and these are the hands. The hands fit snugly into the slots on the dial where they're designed to stay put. The crowns rotate about the face. The bow serves several purposes. A friend of ours stores her stitch markers on it. We put our finger through it when we hold the counter. Or, if you like to wear your counter, either on a chain around your neck or pinned to your shirt, now there's a Sirka counter for you. We call it the Sirka Counter LP and it's available on our website. The owl pin is not for sale, sorry. Anyway, with each of the Sirka counters you've got 3 different colors to work with, so you can keep track of 3 different counts. That's critical for an Aran pattern. Every count has a starting number and an ending number. You put the crown on the starting number and you put the hand on the ending number. That way you never forget when you're supposed to stop. You advance your counts by clicking the crowns from number to number. Let's use as our example a sweater I'm working on right now. It's the beautiful Inishmore by Alice Starmore. I adore Alice Starmore. There are lots of charts in this pattern, but at the moment I only have to deal with 4, and 3 of them have the same number of rows, 36. So I could keep track of both lengths of charts on my Sirka counter and have a crown left over, which I could use to keep track of how many times I've worked the biggest chart. And that would make sense. As it turns out, I'm not doing that. Here's what makes sense to me for this pattern. The smallest chart, 12 rows, has several parts to it, and one of those parts repeats every 6 rows. So I'm using the 3rd crown to keep track of that part. I could do the math, but it's just so easy to say I'm doing a row 1 cable, or I'm doing a row 3 cable, or I'm doing a row 5 cable. I don't have to do a single calculation. I mean, I love my math, but I also want to get this sweater done while it's cold enough to wear it. So here's the setup. Put the yellow hand on the 36 and start the yellow crown at 1 because you're counting rows, and you're starting on row 1 of the 36 row charts. Put the gray hand on the 12 and start the gray crown at 1 for row 1 of the 12 row chart. Put the blue hand on the 6 and start the blue crown at 1 for row 1 of the 6 row element. I won't make you watch me knit each row, which for a thrower like me takes a while, even when you're cabling without a needle. Can I just say cabling without a needle is the best thing ever. To spare you from watching me knit, I've put together a slideshow of the Sirka counter as it moves through the 36 row repeat. So here goes. Now, if you had an Aran pattern like the one that threw a wrench into my brain calculator, the Sirka counter would make it a snap. Remember, the instruction read, after the first repeat, work rows 3 through 24 only. So on your Sirka counter, after the first repeat, when you got to the end, that is, to the 24, you just move your crown back to the 3 instead of the 1. That's it. No math required. And that's how we use the Sirka counter to make an Aran pullover. Of course, as always, you should use the system that works best for you. There's no one right way to use the Sirka counter. If you have any questions, please contact us on our website. I'm Gray, and on behalf of Grellow, thanks for watching.